We're really, really glad that you're able to join us for this meeting. You know, everybody knows that this is primarily a health emergency, but the economic fallout has been severe. Thousands of Rhode Islanders have lost their jobs in the last few weeks. They've lost income. Many have run through their savings. They don't have any money to be able to afford their basic household expenses, and they don't have money for food. If you watch the governor's press conferences every day, she always reminds folks that if they're struggling, to call the United Way 211 hotline. And thousands of people are doing just that. I talked to the folks at 211, and they told me that in March, now remember, the emergency was, was announced, and we all got set for the emergency in the second part of March. But for the entire month of March, 211 received 5,000 calls for food assistance. That's double the number that they received in the same month, March in 2019. Just think about it. So, more than 150 calls a day. When people call, they actually get a person at 211, and they get directed, if they need food assistance, to one of the member agencies of the food bank that's nearest to them and convenient for them. And that's what thousands of people have done. Overnight, we've seen the demand for food assistance reach the level that it reached after the recession in 2008 and 2009. The biggest challenge for us here at the food bank is keeping up with that high demand, particularly since our regular stream of food donations from supermarkets is almost gone. And big food drives like the letter carriers food drive, which would have been next weekend, those food drives are canceled. So what we have to do is more and more purchase food to be able to, make sure that there's enough food to keep all of our partners in the community fully stocked. I think that we have a graph, I don't know if it's possible to bring it up, of the increase that we've seen in the food acquisition and distribution. So in a full year, typically we expect to distribute 12 million pounds of food. That's 1 million pounds of food a month. And last year, that's the pace we were at, distributing about 1 million pounds of food each month. And that's what we did in April 2019. You can see in the month we just ended yesterday that we distributed 1.4 million pounds of food. So we have really increased our food distribution to try to make sure that we're meeting this very, very high demand. I can tell you that we're challenged by this huge need and the amount of food that we have to bring in and get out. We're also challenged here at the food bank because we don't have any volunteers in the building. That's a decision that we made back in March to keep our volunteers safe, keep staff safe. We reduced the number of people in the building following Department of Health regulations and guidelines, but it's meant that all of the work that we're doing is just staff now. We are seeing an incredible response by our staff. We've also seen an unbelievable response by our member agencies in the community who have really had to change what they do because of social distancing guidelines. The same reasons they've had to modify what they do to keep their staff and volunteers safe and keep the people who are coming for food assistance safe. They're doing all that, changing the way they work. At the same time, they're seeing so many